People still need help, Dad. That's why we made this. It's like a satellite for deep space, but quanta.
It's amazing.
Where are we?
This place. It isn't what you think. I can get you home. And give you more time. If you help me. So, what's it gonna be, Ant-Man?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel released a new trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, so we'll break it down. There's a whole bunch of stuff going up. They are using it to set up Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. They said that was meant to be a big difference from the previous Ant-Man movies. The director wanted this movie to be like a big Avengers-level movie, as opposed to the previous Ant-Man movies, which were released right after big Avengers movies like Avengers Age of Ultron and Avengers Infinity War, and served more as palate cleansers. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I will do a special giveaway for movie tickets when we get a little bit closer to the movie actually coming out. The music that they're using on the trailer is Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road because they're treating the quantum realm like the land of Oz, which I guess makes Kang the Wizard of Oz in this scenario. The difference being that in the Wizard of Oz movie, the wizard was just pretending to be a wizard. He was a normal person who was lying to the people there, thinking that it would help him survive, even though it didn't sound like he needed to do that. In Ant-Man 3, Kang is still every bit as powerful as he claims to be, like it's still very much Kang the Conqueror. He's not lying about that. The big thing he's lying about to all these people and to Ant-Man is that he's a friend being benevolent, helping rule over them, who wants to help Ant-Man and the others get back to the normal world. Like he tells them in the trailer, I can help you get more time. When really he's meant to be one of the worst Kang variants there is. We're still going to see a bunch of different variants of Kang across the Marvel Phase 5, Marvel Phase 6 movies. You also may have detected that there's a bunch of Kang variants hiding in the background too because of a big twist that they include in the trailer with Ant-Man's character and a bunch of his variants. Like an army of Ant-Men, there's also an army of Kangs in there too. We will see a version of the Council of Kangs in the movies eventually. I'll explain how they're going to do that though, because I think they're going to save some of that for Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty, where the Avengers do wind up having to fight a bunch of different versions of Kang from across the multiverse. But basically what happened to the characters after Avengers Endgame is that Scott Lang became famous because of his role in Avengers Endgame, saving the world. Everybody loves him. They had the whole joke about the little kid having the Ant-Man merch, like that's how famous he's become. But also the world still knows about Spider-Man, who's way more famous, which is why the shop owner calls him Spider-Man. Like, oh, thanks so much. Even though that's totally not me, that's totally another guy. They weren't really clear about it in the trailer, but Hope Van Dyne has also become famous too, and she started to use PIM particles to solve world hunger, like literally just growing the food in third world countries larger in size. So the whole idea is that when the movie picks up, things are meant to be going great for them for the most part, with a couple exceptions. We've seen during some of the Marvel Phase 4 projects that not all the Avengers are doing great after Avengers Endgame. Like some are still experiencing a whole bunch of trauma, like Winter Soldier, some like Falcon can't even get a bank loan. For the most part, the Ant-Man characters are meant to be doing amazing, with the exception of Cassie Lang. So the whole idea is that when the movie picks up, Scott Lang doing great, like everything seems like it's going so well for him and his family, but he winds up getting a call from the police station in San Francisco. Cassie Lang has been arrested because she got herself in trouble while she was just messing around. Even though they have recast the actress, the whole idea is that during the 5-year time jump, she became something of a scientist as well. She's meant to be a teenager, a little bit older now. She's turned into the Stinger version of the character. That suit is just a little bit different in that it's a little bit more like the Wasp's costume. Usually when you think of Cassie Lang in the comics, you think of the Stature version of her character, where she becomes more like Giant Woman. I think the reason why they went with the Stinger version of her character in the movie is because they wanted that power set versus the Giant Woman power set, and they wanted the purple costume versus the red costume. They didn't want to be too much like Ant-Man's costume. But Cassie Lang getting arrested is meant to be a parallel for Scott Lang being arrested. It's meant to be one of those situations where the apple does not fall far from the tree. And if it wasn't clear, Scott Lang, even though most people just remember him being a thief, he's also meant to be really smart. Like, he's not quite as smart as Hank Pym or like Tony Stark. But before he became a thief, he was an engineer. So like, he does understand PIM particles. He does know the technical aspects of how all this stuff works. It's just that all the movies have been treating him in a very comedic way, giving him all these jokes so that people forget that he's actually a super smart person.
Look, before we start, let me address the elephant in the room. I've heard a lot of chatter out there asking why I didn't shrink down, go in, and kill Thanos in a really creative way. First of all, gross. Secondly, it's much more complicated than that.
It's meant to be kind of the same vibe with Cassie Lang. Like, she is also very smart. She's become an engineer in this 5-year time jump, but just like Scott Lang, gets herself into all kinds of trouble, which is basically how they set off the whole plot of the movie, with her creating the special quantum device that sends a signal to the quantum realm that's meant to be more like a distress beacon, but then Kang uses to pull them back in to help him escape. The reason why she's messing with quantum technology, why Janet Van Dyne gets so pissed off at her, is because during the 5-year time jump, she was reading a lot of Hank Pym's journals, learning about quantum technology, and that's how she engineered this special device, is that apparently all the journals that she was reading didn't include all the dangers of the quantum realm, which is what they explain when Janet Van Dyne says, there's something I didn't tell you, and the something that she didn't tell them was about her history with Kang the Conqueror. The whole idea is that when she was stranded in the quantum realm is that she met Nathaniel Richards before she knew who he really was and what he was capable of. He was a human from Earth, but had been lying to her about his identity. Now, he got stuck there because he came from the distant future, and it was a very Wizard of Oz kind of scenario. So if you remember in the Wizard of Oz movie, the wizard got stuck in Oz because his balloon basically crashed, stranding him there. It's kind of the same deal with Kang the Conqueror. His original time ship crashed in the quantum realm, and because of the way that it crashed, he wasn't able to fix it easily. That's why I think they have this whole plot twist with him forcing Ant-Man to help get something from the ship so that he can escape. Something about the way that his time ship crashed created this really weird nexus of energies that he himself just can't easily access. Like, I think the reason why he needs Scott Lang to do it is because he'll die if he tries, or he's worried that he'll die. Because in this scene where you see a bunch of Ant-Men, a bunch of different variants of Ant-Man running, you see a bunch of them dying while it's happening too. You also see him flying in one of Kang's ships towards this wreckage of a ship, which seems like his original ship that crashed. When they're inside of it, it seems like reality all around here is broken, like you see this red energy arcing where it seems like reality literally has cracked open. And I think the whole idea is that Janet Van Dyne eventually learned his secret, like, oh, you're actually Kang the Conqueror who wants to conquer all of reality, every single multiverse using the quantum realm, and that's why you got stuck here, because you were trying to find a way to do that. She eventually escapes during the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp, but then in that time jump since then, Kang has been searching for a way to get out and detects Cassie Lang's signal. It's like, all right, I'm going to use that. So he's more like the evil Wizard of Oz. This is also where I think things cross over with the events of Loki Season 2, because Loki Season 2 is meant to come out right after Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. So like we see Kang the Conqueror in the Loki Season 1 post-credit scene. But the report is that during the events of Loki Season 2, when Loki is trying to reveal the truth of Kang to all these people who don't seem to remember him, because remember, the timeline rebooted, so Mobius, Hunter B-15, all the other agents here at the TVA don't know what's actually going on. During the Loki Season 2 trailer, you see him trying to re-explain the events of Season 1 to everyone again, particularly Mobius. He reveals Kang's face here. They have a bunch of Easter eggs for earlier versions of Kang in his timeline. But apparently during the Loki Season 2, Kang isn't around. Like, he isn't actually physically at the TVA, even though it seems like he is. Like, you see his visage, you see statues of him, pictures of him all over the place. I think the idea is that he's missing, quote unquote, during the events of Loki Season 2, or at least at the beginning of the series, because he got stuck in the quantum realm. Remember, because of the way the time works, it's possible for him to have created the TVA and win the Kang Multiverse War, or start winning it, then get stuck in the quantum realm, then meet a version of Janet Van Dyne and just be stuck in there for a while, and because of the way the time moves differently in the quantum realm, it seems like he's been stuck there for way longer, when in reality he's only been stuck in there for a couple years. And the whole idea is that he survives Ant-Man and the Wasp, he survives the events of the movie to actually escape and go on to the events of Avengers Kang Dynasty. Like, he completes his mission and is able to eventually collapse the multiverse into one single universe, which is where we get to Avengers Secret Wars. And that'll be their sort of Thanos snap Infinity Gauntlet kind of downer ending for Avengers Kang Dynasty. Like, oh, he actually succeeded. What are we going to do about that? How are we going to save all of reality? One of the other really cool rumors about Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty is that during it, you have like a couple of new Avengers that will form during Captain America 4 New World Order during Marvel Phase 5. Remember, Avengers 5, Avengers 6 don't come till Marvel Phase 6. During Captain America 4, Falcon starts putting together a version of the new Avengers team because we have a couple of them that have shown up during Marvel Phase 4, and a couple more will come along during Marvel Phase 5. But when Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty picks up a little while later, those Avengers wind up getting their asses kicked by Kang the Conqueror and his variants. Just like Thanos rolled over all the Avengers in Avengers Infinity War, like Thanos actually won that movie. He was able to form and snap the Infinity Gauntlet. Kang will wind up wiping the floor with the new Avengers during Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. And the whole idea during Infinity War and Endgame is that Doctor Strange found like that one chance in 14 million where they were able to beat him, but in order to do that, they had to lose the battle in Avengers Infinity War so that they could win the actual war in Avengers Endgame. And what'll happen when Avengers 6 Secret Wars picks up is that in order to win the war, Doctor Strange and whoever else is with him will wind up looking to the multiverse to build a multiverse Avengers team that will be able to beat Kang the Conqueror. Like, oh, the 616 main MCU Avengers weren't enough. We need to find more badass Avengers from the multiverse. And that's where you get all your cameos from like the Fox Marvel movies. You get like Hugh Jackman, Wolverine being on a version of the Avengers. You get a multiverse version of Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play a different version of the character. Just like the most badass version of the Avengers that you could think of from any version of the comics, any version of the movies, the animated series, anything. You also get Tobey, Maguire, and Andrew Garfield coming back to cameo, being on a version of that multiverse Avengers. There's a lot of other stuff going on during Ant-Man and the Wasp. They haven't totally got into a lot of the MODOK and a lot of the Bill Murray stuff. That's like a completely separate part of the movie. We'll probably see some more footage for them when we get more trailers in the next month. If you spotted any other Easter eggs in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. Like I said, more footage coming really soon. There's a bunch of trailers that'll be dropping this week for other stuff too, so make sure you enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. And happy holidays to everyone. Click here for my new Loki Season 2 trailer video, and click here for that Henry Cavill Warhammer trailer. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.